Well, hello everybody. It is rest day in St. Louis, and I don't know if you can tell behind me, but it's raining. It's been raining pretty much all day during my rest day. That's a good thing uh, because I would not want to be bicycling in the rain that's been going on today. See my hat? This is what I get when my wife goes to the field of dreams, but I don't. So yeah, we're enjoying the rain today, enjoying the rest day, and want to share a few words with you coming right up. So I just wanted to spend some time talking with you a little bit about some serious things. For those of you who are following the vlog, you know that I like to at least try to be funny. My wife thinks I try to be funny. Sometimes she actually thinks I am. For those of you who don't know me very well, I pastor a United Methodist Church in Springboro, Ohio. And I've been doing so for 26 years, 27 years. My wife's still shaking her head.
You started in 95.
Started in 95, to do the math.
20, it'll be 28.
28 years.
August.
Wow, that's a long time. During those 28 years, lots of ups and downs, mostly ups. I've had a pretty good career. I've had 4 really good appointments. But what I've learned over the course of time is a couple things. Number one, I try not to take myself too seriously. Because as soon as you take yourself too seriously, you crash and burn. As soon as you decide you think you've got it all figured out, you find out that you don't. My experience is when you stay humble, stay in your lane, you do what you're called to do, for the most part, you're more at peace and you're a happier person. It's one of the biggest lessons I've learned over the course of 28 years of ministry. The other thing I've learned over the course of time is recognizing and understanding boundaries and personal identity. I pastor a United Methodist Church. It is what I do. It is not who I am. And for a long time, I got those two mixed up. For a long time, I felt like being a pastor was who I was. And so my identity became glued to my role or my tasks in the context of the church. The problem with that is when you fail as a pastor, then I would also feel like I failed as a person. When I succeeded as a pastor, I would also feel like I succeeded as a person. And so my success and failure as a person rode on the waves of the ups and downs of church life. And for those of you who are pastors out there, or you're familiar with the ups and downs of church life, that is a very, it can be at times a very unstable, insecure place to be, because the church is made up of people, and the human condition is real. So there's always going to be ups and downs in church life, as well as any other organization that is based on people. So I learned not to take myself too seriously. I've learned to make an intentional effort to make a distinction between what I do and who I am. Pastoring is what I do. Being a child of God is who I am. And those are two different things. One is connected to my faith, me believing I'm a child of God. The other is living out of who I think I am in terms of purpose, which is the third thing I've learned. And that is, I believe everyone has a purpose. I don't know that it's always set in stone what your purpose is. I think people might have more than one purpose. But I found that when you are able to identify your purpose and live into that purpose, again, you're more at peace and you're a happier person, generally speaking. So not taking myself too seriously, making the distinction between who I am and what I do, and identifying my purpose and living into my purpose. For me, it's pastoring a church. Some people, their purpose isn't related to a vocation. Some people it is. For me, it is. Um, so those are the three big things. So I say all that to lead into why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because people look at me and they say, why are you riding your bike over 2,000 miles on a Mississippi River trail where it's going to be hot, it's not always safe, it's exhausting, um, and it all goes back to those three things I've learned. I'm currently on what's called a renewal leave. In the United Methodist Church, pastors are allowed to take renewal leaves every 4 to 6 years. And this is my second renewal leave. Well, what's a renewal leave? Well, you're supposed to be renewed by that. Well, what does that mean? Well, for me, what it means is going back to those three lessons I've learned. Okay? Not taking myself so seriously. And you've seen that in my vlogs, right? If you have taken me seriously in all my vlogs, then I don't know what to say, because my day is filled with sarcasm and dry humor, and I have a lot of fun doing that. And the reason I have a lot of fun doing that is because I don't take myself so seriously. We live in a world that I believe at times is hypersensitive. We get offended way too easily, and as a result, many of us, I believe, live very high-strung lives. Not worth it. So, in my vlogs, why do I do the vlogs I do? You know, it's to make light of the fact that we are in the midst of the human condition. We're not perfect, and so that's one thing. The other thing I do is the other purpose of the vlogs is to disconnect. I do two things for the 26 days. I do two things. I ride my bicycle and I make vlogs about my bicycling. That's what I'm doing. I'm getting up at 6:30. I'm riding from 6:30 in the morning until 5 or 6 in the evening. I eat, I take a shower, I work on a vlog for 2 to 2.5 hours, and I go to bed. And I'm doing that day after day after day after day. What does that do for me? Well, it forces me to disconnect. Disconnect from what I do so I can get refocused on who I am. My disconnecting is about over. And for those of you who are pastors out there who are definitely engaged and connected deeply into your church, it takes a while to disconnect. A week vacation doesn't do it. You're still connected. You're connected, particularly in this day and age, via the phone, the email, whatever. A week vacation doesn't do it. It's taken me 2 weeks to disconnect. Right? That's the first step of renewal. Second step of renewal is to then be able to look at the whole picture objectively. So over the next 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, I'll be looking at who I am, what I'm called to do, and what my role is in the context that I find myself in at Springboro, and be able to look objectively on what should be done, could be done, what God calls us to do. That's step 2 of the renewal process. Okay, renewing your sense of purpose. And then step 3, which will happen hopefully the last few weeks of renewal leave, is being able to theoretically strategize on how you're going to live into that purpose. Now it's theoretical because I'm going to be doing it in my head. There's a difference, as a pastor, there's a difference between, or any visionary, there's a difference between solving problems in your head and solving problems with a group of people. So in a renewal leave, you do it theoretically in your head. Okay, how would my living into my call, how would that look in practical ways when I start re-engaging with the people of the church? So that's the serious side of what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. That's really all that stuff is going on in the background of all the silly stuff that you see in my vlogs. There is also psychology in how I'm doing my vlogs. You know, counting roadkill isn't something that I actually enjoy doing, but there's a psychology behind that. And for me, it's a coping mechanism. People ask me, Joe, what do you think about when you're on your bicycle for 10 hours? Because every day I'm on my bicycle for about 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours. What do you think about? And for me, it's a lot about math. I'm constantly thinking about math. How fast am I going? When's my next stop? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the segment I do about what was that dead thing is it's really a way for me to cope with the monotony of pedaling a bicycle. It gives me something to think about. And at the same time, not take myself too seriously. So there's even reasons why I vlog what I vlog. And then when I stray too far off course, I got my wife with me she has different phases of getting me back in line. One is the smirk that she's got right now. Number 2 is the eye roll. Number 3 is the whatever. If I get to the whatever, I'm in trouble. Correct? Get to the whatever, I'm in trouble. So she'll keep me in line if I go overboard too much. So those are some of my thoughts. For those of you who have had renewal leaves or had a chance to don't get confused between renewal leaves and sabbaticals. Some people think I'm on a sabbatical. I am not on sabbatical. Sabbatical is a time away to study, to learn, to do research. I am not doing that. I am renewing myself. There's a big difference. So for those of you who've had a chance to have renewal leaves, I know not everyone has a chance to do that. Make some comments. If you have questions, leave your questions in the comments. I'll get back to you. I think and I wish more pastors would do renewal leaves, with the key being that they do it the right way. There's renewal leaves that work, and then there's renewal leaves that are just extended vacations. A renewal leave is not an extended vacation. There's a purpose. There's a more specific purpose in renewal leaves and how you can do it correctly in a way that actually renews you. So those are some of my thoughts. Today is day 12 officially, which is the rest day in St. Louis. Tomorrow I am leaving St. Peter's in St. Louis and traveling to Peavey, Missouri. It's supposed to be a 54-mile trip, so it's not a long trip. I'm thinking about adding mileage to tomorrow because the day after tomorrow is supposed to be 109 miles. So if I have a really good day tomorrow, I might actually bicycle an extra 10 or 15 miles down the road just to take away some of the mileage for me the next day. So there you have it. Did I miss anything, Kim?
Don't think so.
Yeah. You have any wisdom to share with them?
No. It's your night.
It's my night, she says. She's such a good person. All right. Talk to you all later. Bye.